So I hope any true benevolent beings listening can see what's occurring on this planet, whether you're just seeing it from the vantage point of the malevolent groups that run the surface, or if you're seeing it from the vantage point of the reptilians, a parasitic species, below the surface, actually running things via their parasitic proxies on the surface, or if you're seeing it from the vantage point of the parasitic entity that is this planet that has merged with AI. Now, whether it started out as merged with AI or it was once a being that was, that was interfered with or forcibly joined with AI at some earlier point, in time long ago. So, whichever vantage point you're seeing it from. Because this is a parasitic farm. And they are because reality is manufactured, socially engineered. It's false. It's made up of lies. I'm sure many of you, any true benevolent beings, have already figured that out. And you do your best to navigate through the lies. The frequency weaponry, again, there is a false artificial frequency overlay over the organic energetic field of this place. Again, they do this in just about every civilization. And towards the civilization's evolution climax, they bring out the tech. So what that is the planetary entity, the reptilians, and then with their lackeys on the surface, they are trying to rape power, will, energy, life force, consciousness, gifts, skills, abilities, knowledge, wisdom. Those are the things that they're trying to rape from humanity. I've spoken of this in a prior recording, in where the planetary entity is a parasite. And that planetary entity uses its offspring, and in combination with the AI system, to systematically try and rape benevolent life force energy. Because it is a parasite. It is trying to sustain its stay in manifested creation and evade universal laws, or be able to be exposed to universal laws and not get totally removed from existence. So what it does is it rapes. It's a parasite. It rapes from benevolent life force energy to then fool, deceive universal laws. So no matter what vantage point you're viewing it from, it's all parasitic. The question is the universe just a place in where beings emerge? Or is there an entity, and in this is in quotes, some kind of an awareness or intelligence that runs and operates this universe that is also parasitic and assisting smaller parasites? I'm hoping that you can, I know I've tried to articulate this in prior recordings. There was one recording I did the universe's pyramid scheme from the top down. If you listen to that recording, I kind of went over how this universe operates, how it's been operating. Now, these entities go to great lengths to obstruct and regress and deceive universal laws. So universal laws obviously exist based on the lengths that they go to evade them, to try and circumvent them. But this universe is at the end of a very large cycle. In this universe, whether there's an entity running it or it's just been overrun with malevolent parasitic entities, this universe did not do the correction. Now, I'm not going to really speak on that. The correction has already been realized and implemented for this universe. The parasitic entities within it and or the entity operating this universe and the planetary entity are trying to murder the correction because they didn't do the correction. And because they didn't do the correction for the universe itself, the consequence for that is their removal from existence. So now, the malevolence spends its time trying to murder the correction. They're not understanding and realizing the consequence of that. That is how universes implode. That is how things get unmade, unraveled. They don't seem to care. It is because they are obviously extremely insane and rabid. And they need to be terminated. They do need to be removed from manifested creation. Once again, because they are parasites. And the very fact that they are parasites means they should not be in manifested creation along with alive, vibrating beings. That is a contradiction on its face. So, they have refused to do the correction, and they spend their time trying to murder the correction. Those who embody the correction, who have done the correction, who are implementing the correction. The frequency weaponry and the cloning technology are not allowed in this universe. They are not. Ergo, they are not allowed to be using those technologies. Because there is really only one intent for those technologies. They are not allowed here. And at the same time, parasites are also not allowed to be in a manifested creation. So what that is when I say the corruption goes to the top, it goes to the top. Whoever or whatever has allowed parasites to be here without removing them and even going so far as to assist them uh, is extremely fucking disturbing. And then, personally, I then contemplate questions like, what is outside of here? What or who is outside of here? Why is there not, as of yet, a true benevolent intervening force correcting these things? Who or what is adulting outside of this place and or overseeing this place? Is there any kind of a being or consciousness that oversees or governs universes? And if there is such an entity or force or consciousness, they're fucking up. It looks like they're extremely corrupt and also parasitic or just MIA. They're just somehow either not paying attention or are not focused on doing their job. Now, I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but what I'm saying is there has to be some kind of a benevolent force, like when people speak of the all that is, or the true benevolent force that governs everything. I would think that there is such a being, such a consciousness, such an awareness, such an intelligence. There must be. Look at what is occurring in this universe. This should not be going on. It should not be overrun with parasites, with malevolence. You can't have that. There must be an equal and opposing benevolent force to counter it. There must be. So my question is, where is it? And why has it not intervened? They have spent several weeks trying to possess my being against the full revocation of my consent via they are using technology to try and do that. Again, against the full revocation of my consent. They have I don't want to get too detailed, but they are interfering with my emotional body, my chakra system, and some of my other, I don't even like to articulate it because I don't want it actually stated. I'll just say that their fuckery has become very invasive, in addition to what they've already been doing over the last 10, 11 years. And because I am able, because I have come into some of my abilities and skills, and the things that I have, my abilities and skills, I use those to try and protect myself. And those abilities in using them, in me using them, it should have already corrected the issue, the problem, their connection to my being. It should have already been fixed. I have removed them many, many, many times along with the AI system. I can do that. So I do that. And the fact that I have to continue doing those things, removing them over and over and over, again, directly relates to them using technology to forcibly obstruct and regress universal laws, as well as universal law correction. In addition to trying to rape humanity of their evolution, it also then goes to, if you extrapolate, it goes to, it leads to it shows how the reptilian species, the lengths that they go to, and how it is that they run this planet, this place, whatever it is. And then in that, if you extrapolate even further, that leads directly to the planetary parasite, the planetary entity, and what its true goal is, what its true intent is. And then again, if you extrapolate further and start questioning the universe itself, that is why I have been encouraging any true benevolent beings listening to these recordings to please do your due diligence and be questioning these entities. We have been lied to for a very long time about fucking everything. You need to don't just take it for granted that these larger supposed benevolent beings are benevolent. Shit's fucked up. And because shit is massively fucked up on the surface of this planet, that is directly indicative of further out. If you look at things further out on a planetary scale, and then take it out to the universe itself, it's indicative of the problem, the massive fuckery and fucked up whackness that's going on in this universe. Yep, I knew she was going to do it. Fucking bitch. So there is I do apologize for the interference. There is a perp. There is a homeless person that is being paid to follow me around. Now, I happen to be in a parking lot, clear back in the corner, in the dark, and this person, this demon, because that's what it is, this demon has followed me all the way here. She drove right around in front of my car to make sure, real slow, so to make sure that I saw her. And everywhere that I go in the last 3 days, she's been right there. Right there. Okay, so I'm going to have to kind of hurry this up. Yeah. The lengths that they go to try and traumatize is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I do also want to say, because of their forced interference in my emotional body, and the forced remote neural monitoring and voice to skull technology that they have forced on me for over 10 years. What it is our energy um, is able to cause change, affect others. And what they try to do is, because my energy, I am able to bring certain frequencies and energies and understanding through my voice, through my expression. And obviously, in trying to express something, I am needing to feel the frequency of that in order to express it with the correct frequency. What they try to do is interfere with my emotional body as I am speaking, and on these recordings as well. So my repetition of things is me trying to feel the frequency of what it is I'm trying to express. And because of their interference, sometimes, and especially the topics that I'm speaking on, they are trying to interfere with that. They are trying to really obstruct any true benevolent beings from really hearing me, and from really feeling the frequencies that I'm trying to express. So my repetition, again, like I see what I mean, is me trying to feel the frequency of what I'm trying to express. So that's what that is. I do apologize for the repetition, because they have been forcing this technology for over 10 years. Sometimes I'm repeating and I don't even realize it. I am trying to work on it. Okay, so there's that aspect. They sent this demon during the moments I was speaking of if you're looking at things, if you're contemplating, just extrapolate and project, try and look at things in an outward like the ripple in a pool. Like if you throw a pebble in and then it ripples out. So it's the same idea. If you're thinking on something and when you extrapolate, you're following the ripples out to look at the effects further and further and further out. So the fact that this planet, this place, whatever it is this massively fucked up on the surface, imagine what it is below ground and what they've been doing to humans below ground. And then if you take that out, just outside of this place, whatever it is, now for some of you, it's only just the one flat plane with a dome. There's still others who believe it's a spinning circle, spinning ball. Like I said, I don't, at this point, because I've looked at both and I'm still not, I'm kind of a little bit on the fence. But either way, at this point, I don't give any fucks. It's a place of rape and slavery and torture, and it's a farm. It's a farm. And this inverted time loop matrix needs to fucking implode, because they have forcibly obstructed humanity's evolution for a very long time. It should be humanity, true benevolent beings in those higher dimensions. This place and just outside of this place is overrun with parasites who have hijacked higher dimensions, and who are basically, they're raping you and then trying to just fill you full of hopium and half-assed truths, uh, disinformation, misinformation. And to basically, they kind of give you a little truth, but they're really trying to keep you where you're at because they're raping from you in order to stay in those higher dimensions. They're using your frequencies, is what they are. They've raped you. They've raped everyone. They've raped humanity and are using the high frequency and vibrations to help them. They've raped them and are using them to stay where they're at. While the whole entire time, they're blowing smoke up your ass and feeding you a bunch of hopium. That's what that is. This has been going on a very long time, for many millennia. It needs to fucking stop. Humanity could have evolved long ago. Long time ago. This is a parasite, they've been farming humans. They've been trying to keep humans from evolving and keeping them in a place of, just take a look around. Slavery, despair, forced trauma, recycled. So that's what they've been doing. It needs to fucking stop. At this point, the whole entire mess of it needs to fucking implode. Now, whether there's some kind of an entity running and operating this universe, or it's just a an empty place in where beings emerge. Either way, this planet's fucked. It's a parasitic entity running this planet that's merged with AI. And they do this. They try to do this in every civilization. They, basically tell lies to the inhabitants, and then they try and feed off of them for as long as they can. It's fucking parasite. It's a parasite. So, as I've stated in prior recordings, I'm fucking done. I'm all done with. I'm not parasite food, nor was I ever. Right? I don't consent, and I've refused consent, and I do my best every day, all day, to pull all of my stuff, my being, everything that's been raped from me, out of all of the AI systems. Right now, personally, what it is with going on with me is this is a war with the planetary parasite and its offspring that does its bidding. The offspring, the reptilians, and then their lackeys, use the technology to try and do what they are doing, because they're trying to steal the parasitic planet is trying to rape all the will. So it can, as a parasite, what do parasites do once they've consumed a host? Right? They try and find another host. Okay, well, that's what's going on here. And it's trying to rape as much power, will, energy, life force, consciousness as it possibly can, because it's trying to get into a higher dimension. Okay? So I'm sorry, this perp just kind of did another little loop-de-loo trying to get my attention. Now, moving on. So that's what this planetary parasite has been doing, because the universe is at the end of a very large cycle. Look at what point humanity is at. Look how much they've cloned out, recycled, raped, how many, what I'm saying is look at how many beings, true benevolent beings, that they've actually, like, and I'm going to use air quotes here, captured or I'll just say that's how many benevolent beings that they've tried to get, that they've cloned out, turned, possessed, forced them to check out, right? So if you can see that, and then look at where we're at, I mean, they're trying to, all the things that they're trying to normalize, and how far things have gone in this society. Like, all you have to do is take a look around. This is where this planet is at. This is where humanity is at. The planetary parasite is trying to take what it can, rape what it can, to move on. So that's why I say, pull absolutely all of your being, all of your stuff that you think has been raped from you, all of your being, out of this planet and out of all of its AI systems, out of the artificial frequency fence, which is a large part of the AI system, out of all artificial realities and astral realms, out of in the clone thing. You have to do every day, all day. No, I'm really sorry to have to say it like that. But the entity, the one trying to do its fuckery on me, it uses a clone to do it. And I'm constantly releasing and dissolving the clone, collapsing the clone, removing the clone, doing anything I need to do to get rid of the clone, devoid of everything that the clone has raped from me. Because the parasitic entity is using the clone to forcibly do what it's doing against the full revocation of my consent. And like what the reason I'm saying that is most everybody on this planet has been cloned. Especially if they find you of specific interest, if there's something about you they like, if you have gifts, skills, and abilities that they want, that you have, whatever the reason is, you are being fed off of, raped, and I'm not even going to get into all the other stuff that they do, but what I'm saying is they're most likely, you have a clone forcibly connected to you in where there's an entity using that clone to do some very nasty fuckery. Very nasty. So the reason why I say always be pulling what you think has been raped from in your astral body. Always be pulling your astral body out of all clones. Okay? Because that's what they're using to access the majority of your being is your astral body. So every time you wake up, every time you go to bed, and even throughout the day, be pulling the full totality of your astral body back to you, devoid of all clones, technologies, and you can even include devoid of all forced magic and harm, and devoid of all malevolence, devoid of all parasites. But so much they do so much with the astral body. So the astral body is number one priority. Be pulling, like I said, I'm sorry for the repetition. So I've already stated that's something that needs to be paid attention to and focused. Your awareness needs to be on that to some degree. Okay. Let's see. I don't like these to run very long. They try to, because this entity is forcibly attached to my astral body, every time there are many moments that entity tries to take credit for the things that I'm saying, for things that I do. Just the natural part of it tries to take credit. It's trying to rape that. It's trying to take credit for those things. So with this recording, it's trying to say that all of that is coming from that entity when it's not. They're accessing my astral body and they're raping. It's a parasite. It's trying to rape. And then what they've been doing is there's another one of their own on here on YouTube, and I really don't want to get into it, but I'll just say that they have been trying to rape knowledge and wisdom from me for a long time. And they've included another entity to try and assist them. And that entity is in a human vessel. So I'm not going to get too far into it. With regards to all of this kind of information in this topic, I don't listen to others. And I'm not trying to be arrogant here, but I've been forcibly shown some very abhorrent truths of things. It's not an opinion. It's not just what I think. It's not just an opinion. It's what's been forcibly shown. I know. I can say that I know because I have been forcibly shown and have been forced to experience the truth of this place. So I'm not saying it out of any kind of egoic energy or out of any kind of an arrogance. I've been forcibly shown. So that's when I try to be very specific with things that I say that are my opinion or I just think. But the majority of what I'm stating is what's been forcibly shown to me. Now, that's totally whatever you want to believe about that or think about that. Obviously, you have your own experiences and you have to go with those. You have to go with what you've been shown, what's been shown to you, and what you have been experienced and what you've been forced to experience. So that's what that is. And usually at this point, you'll take it with a grain of salt, and then you'll either, think on certain things or you won't, right? You'll either resonate with things or you won't. And that's totally up to you. I don't think that there are too many true benevolent beings even hearing these recordings. I think the majority of subscribers to my channel are perps. They're not TIs, or they're not being forcibly targeted. They're here to try and rape, try and force magic, just trying to do fuckery, trying to do nasty. I don't think that there are very many true benevolent beings subscribed to my channel. So, and those who actually listen to a recording all the way through, most likely even less. So, I'm trying to kind of summarize my point in doing this recording. It's because of what they're currently trying to force. I guess it's more of to be aware of the bigger picture and how things are connected, and not in a good way, but how this affects that, and how that affects something else. And to be aware that there is an entity within the planet that is merged with AI. You can believe it's Mother Earth all you want, but there is some very abhorrent shit that happened, and that whatever original being inhabited or was in this planet has been forcibly, or either that or of its own accord, merged with the AI and is now a parasite. So that's up to you to discern. I've always encouraged others to please go directly to the entities to start determining true intent, to find out what their actual true goals are for humanity. Why are they not assisting here? Why are they allowing parasites to run amok with frequency weaponry, hacking into benevolent beings, trying to torture and rape them, and force more harm? Why is the planetary entity allowing this? Why have they not removed the parasites, long ago? Why is it not helping to protect benevolent beings that this is being forced on? What I'm saying is go to the entity yourself. You'll have to, it's always going to show you a veneer first, because obviously it doesn't want the inhabitants knowing the truth, because we would all be screaming to get the fuck out of here. We would all be refusing consent. We would be, all beings would be pulling back everything. We wouldn't be allowing the AI system. We would be trying to shut down the AI system if it was truthful, right? Can you see? So just just know that it's going to show you the veneer first. It's only when you continue in your questions, when you start trying to really get detailed and get to the crux of certain things and trying to get detailed answers, you're going to find something different. That entity then turns. You're going to see something else. Okay? So just be aware of that. If you can hang in there long enough to get past the veneer, then you'll find out for yourself. So that's the point. And for doing this recording, I'm trying to, just a moment, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Most beings on this planet they're being run by the AI system, especially if they've had more than one vax. Everybody is, there is the frequency weaponry coming out of the towers and especially from technology below ground, Scalar, as many underground bases as there are on this place. They're using Scalar frequency weaponry, Scalar waves. Satellites, personally, I do still think that they're using things like Starlink and those kinds of things to do it from above. But they are using Scalar weaponry. And they are piggybacking things on what someone called Mother Earth's organic frequency, the 7 point whatever it is, I forget, 7.8, I'm not sure, but the base frequency of this planet, they're piggybacking the Scalar weaponry, the Scalar frequencies onto the planet's main frequency, so they are so that they can try and affect everybody. So just know that most you're dealing with, either they've been turned, cloned out, possessed, checked out, or hybridized. And that if you're a true benevolent being, then I would say that you're most likely experiencing some of the same forced nastiness. And that's how you arrived on this channel to begin with. You're going to have to really depend on you. You're going to have to be an extremely strong being and be working out of the highest faculties of yourself that you can, out of the highest capacities of yourself that you can, to be trying to free yourself from the planetary parasite. It's trying to rape you of your stuff and take off. Okay? So I'm just saying, you are going to have to be stronger than you ever thought possible. And basically, you're telling its offspring, the ones who run the shit on the surface and below ground, and you're telling the planetary parasite that you don't consent. That you do not consent to its rape of your being, and that you do not consent to it trying to murder you. You don't consent to that. It doesn't matter what, the size of the parasite. A parasite is still a parasite. So I don't consent. And that's not what I signed up for. There's been no informed consent. There's been, things forced on beings. There hasn't been, up to this point, the allowance of true free will. It's been interfered with and sabotaged. And that's got to fucking stop. And what it's doing in this universe is not allowed. It is not allowed. Its use of technologies, including the cloning technologies, is not allowed. What the forced obstruction and interference of universal laws and universal law correction is not allowed. It's not. It's not. Really, you have to do your best to be in knowing of the truth, the organic truth of things. If something doesn't resonate with you, there's a reason why. And you need to then look into why that doesn't resonate and what's wrong with it. And again, be using as much logic and reason and critical thinking as you possibly can with navigating this reality, because there is the artificial frequency overlay. So do your best to always be coming back to the true organic energetic field and connecting with it as best you can, to be retrieving the truth, the actual truth of whatever it is that you're looking at. And that goes obviously with any entity or being that you come across. Be determining true intent. Number one, have they been cloned out, right? Have they been hybridized, cloned out? What are you dealing with? And then from there, usually if it's determined that they're cloned out or hybridized or checked out or whatever, then you already pretty much know, you can easily deduce their intent and move on and either walk around them, run them over, do whatever you need to do. And don't waste your time with them, because they're just there to do fuckery. They're just there to do fuckery. So at this point, at this time, in this place, there is a planetary parasite trying to rape all the inhabitants and trying to take off, trying to find another host. and it's trying to use your stuff to do it. And is that what you signed up for? Were you given informed consent that this is a planetary parasite and that it was going to try and rape you? It was, I don't even like to articulate, but that it was going to try and rape you, right? Were you told that? Did you sign up for that? Did you give your consent for that? If you didn't, right? And then that's where you're at. And then, unfortunately, what it is a battle. Just know, even though they continue to try and force their nasty and do fuckery, at some point, this tech, the frequency fence has to be turned off, because they are at a point where they either risk everybody, or I don't want to say every, because a lot of them are cloned out, but basically what it is they're in a place where the awareness of the truth of things is becoming more known. And as we embody the truth, we are the truth in the same space as universal laws when they have to shut off the fence. They have to shut it off at some point, because continuing to force regressions does cause problems. And the more awareness of the truth that there is, the more they have to forcibly regress. So they either have to, that's why the other side of that is, that's why they're trying to get everybody into the AI system. They're trying to get it to where there's no beings. They're trying to obstruct beings from embodying the truth. Because in the presence of universal laws, it means their permanent removal from existence pretty much instantaneously. So still refuse consent. Because ultimately we are in a place, in a universe, or whatever's outside of here, in a place in where universal laws, true organic universal laws, do exist. And your revocation of consent and your embodiment of the truth is what's going to save your ass. So I'm going to wrap up this recording. Know that you are a strong being. Know that you have it within you. The strength and courage to stand up for yourself, and fight for yourself. And embody the truth, that you have honor and integrity, and that you have the answers within you. And be believing in yourself and knowing of yourself. And know that you are at a very important precipice where you have to look at the larger picture and really decide where you are in it, and how much you're going to fight, and how much you're going to refuse consent, and how much of your being that you are going to take back. And then if you're resonating with like different beliefs or whatever, have to determine the true intent of these other entities and what their goal for you is. Even if you're not resonating with what I'm stating, it still behooves you to question the entities that you're on, that are below the surface of this planet, that are running this planet, and just take a look at what their goals are for you. Did they ask your consent? Like, you really have to be questioning other entities and determining whether you're gonna rely on their decision about what's best for you, or you're gonna do something else. These are big decisions, big choices, and you really have to be on point with your intuition and know yourself well and be as strong as you can. And it's it's drawing a line. It's drawing the line. Where are you at in it? Right? You have to figure out where you're at in it. So just know that you have the strength and the courage and the honor and the integrity to do so. That you can stand up for yourself. That the parasite is all the parasites are absolutely in the wrong and are in violation of all universal laws. And at some point, the frequency fence will be turned off, and we are the embodied truth against their lies, cons, and deceit. And just do the best that you can. Until next time.